For exactly a year now, the Ethiopian government has imposed a siege on Tigrai, with all essentially needed items, such as food aid and life-saving medical supplies, prevented from reaching the many in need. Ayder Comprehensive Specialized Hospital, the largest referral hospital in Tigray, has been among the most affected by the ongoing blockade. Services in the hospital have deteriorated to a degree where the hospital is unable to provide care for many of its patients. We visited the hospital and spoke with the chief clinical director of the hospital, Dr. Kibrom Gebreselassie, on how services have deteriorated in the hospital over the past year when the Ethiopian government's siege has been underway.
Due to the war and following the war, due to the siege, we are unable to deliver most of the functions. Almost we have suspended education. We are not giving training to undergraduate students other than interns and CT students, as well as some of the residency programs. When you come to the hospital service, we have a significant problem in diagnostics. Our radiology department is affected, which means MRI, CT, and X-ray, as well as ultrasound. Most of them, they need spare parts, they need staff, educated staff, so they are not functional now. And when you come to the laboratory, we don't have calibrated instruments, equipment, they need calibration. We don't have reagents. Because of this, we are not providing enough diagnostic tests in our laboratory too. So with this, it is a limited service that we are giving.
The hospital, according to Dr. Kibrom, has not been able to provide even the most basic treatment with medical supplies in short supply across the region. The doctor emphasized that the hospital doesn't even have the most basic supplies, such as antibiotics and anesthesia drugs.
In our hospital, the surgeries, they are not very short or 30 minutes or 1 hour surgeries. Some of them, they might even take the whole day. So for this, you need a large stock of anesthesia drugs. So because of this interruption of anesthesia drugs, we were forced to stop delivering elective surgeries. We were only focusing on emergency surgeries like trauma or cesarean section and so on. So it has created its own significant impact in our hospital. The type of antibiotics that we need, they are secondary antibiotics, or we have the first line antibiotics that we get them in primary hospitals, in health centers. If this fails, the patient has to come to this hospital and get a higher degree antibiotics. So we are not able to get these medications, and we are not delivering this type of antibiotics. So the patients, they are, even if admitted to our hospital, or even if they are in the ICU, they are not getting the antibiotics they should get according to their disease profile.
Discussing the state of Ayder Hospital employees, Dr. Kibrom stressed that despite not having a salary for over a year, the staff at Ayder Hospital have been devoted to their patients, doing whatever little was possible to keep patients alive and in good health.
Yeah, it is a kind of patriotism that we are seeing here. You don't expect anyone or any employee to go to their work if they are not paid. It's a contractual agreement. So that the organization will pay their salary at the end of the month, so that they have to work for a month. But if you stop 1 month, they might, give you time, but 2 months, 3 months, now it is 1 year. Despite of the suspension in salary, despite the lack of access to their bank accounts, our employees, they are still coming to the hospital. This is because, it is part of patriotism. It is ethics that medicine requires. When they come to the hospital, they know they are going to save one life. If they don't come to the hospital, they might sit in their house, someone will die, a laboring mother might die, a child might die, or anyone that can be saved because of their availability in the hospital will die. So this is a force that is pushing them to come to the hospital. So for this, we are very grateful, and we can't thank them enough,
But, the chief clinical director explained, despite their devotion, many health professionals have found their personal and professional lives highly affected by the siege, with many feeling helpless due to their incapacity to care for their patients.
Sometimes, it might make you helpless. You have a patient in front of you, you know how to treat the patient, you have all the skills, you have the capability, you have the education, but you cannot treat the patient because you don't have the supplies, because there is no antibiotics, because there is no glove, because there is no anesthesia drug. So the patient is going to die in front of you. if this doesn't leave us helpless and hopeless, nothing could have left us helpless.
Dr. Kibram warned that the international community is failing in its responsibility to avert genocide in Tigray and take action sooner than later to save the lives of many.
An act of genocide is being done under the watch of the international community. It's not invisible. It's not unheard. We are making our voice to be listened or to be heard everywhere. We are communicating with anyone who could listen to us. We are writing, we are sending messages and so on, hoping that help will come. But 1 year too long, and we don't know when it will end. So unless the international community acts, at least for humanitarian access, at least for medications, at least for life-sustaining materials and so on, when are they going to act? How many people should die so that they will act, or to call it genocide and so on? So instead of calling it retrospectively, it was a genocide, declaring it is a genocide and acting against a genocide will be, that's what I call to the international community.
For a year now, Tigray has practically been severed from the world, with its citizens unable to access even the vital services, including healthcare, banking, or food assistance. But the world has remained silent, failing to live up to its promise to never again allow mass atrocities to take place under its watch.